How you guys doing? My name is Emmanuel Omoa, and today you are brought to this YouTube channel that I'm going to be beginning called the Scribe. And basically what we're going to be doing is I'd like to grow more in philosophy, I should say, whilst also giving value to other people by dissecting said philosophy. And the first philosophy I'd like to start with is Stoicism, because it's helped me quite a lot within my own life. We're going to begin with the Enchiridion by Epictetus. But first, let me give you guys a cheeky little introduction. This is the Enchiridion by Epictetus, also known as the Manual. Enchiridion, Manual. It means the same thing, different languages. Alright, let's continue. It was created as a guide for the advanced students of Stoicism to elucidate the path and goal of becoming a true philosopher. The son of a female slave, born between 50 to 60 AD in Phrygia, Epictetus would find himself under the servitude of a secretary of Roman Emperor Nero. Crazy guy, you probably heard of him. It was under these circumstances that fate would have Epictetus be found suitable and come under the tutelage of Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher, also known as the fashionable Stoic. We'll have to read up later on why he's called that. Later, after maneuvering a no doubt arduous and oppressive life of subjugation, Epictetus would become a freed man, relocating to Nicopolis, where he established a school. Though we do not have any written form of teaching directly from Epictetus, like other well-known Stoics such as Socrates, his many students have transcribed his teachings into many different texts. Specifically, it was his student Flavius Arrian who would later etch down the philosophy of his master under the title the Enchiridion. So, let's go ahead and get into the first passage. You know, I really like this book. It's probably I'd say it's probably top 3 books for me right now. Number 1. There are things which are within our power, and there are things which are beyond our power. Within our power are opinion, aim, desire, aversion, and in one word, whatever affairs are our own. Beyond our power are body, property, reputation, office, and in one word, whatever are properly not our own affairs. Now, the things within our power are by nature free, unrestricted, unhindered. But those beyond our power are weak, dependent, restricted, and alien. Remember then, that if you attribute freedom to things by nature dependent, and take what belongs to others for your own, you will be hindered, you will lament, you will be disturbed, you will find faults with both gods and men. Big ass lesson. But if you take for your own only that which is your own, and view what belongs to others just as it really is, then no one will ever compel you. No one will restrict you. You will find faults with no one. You will accuse no one. You will do nothing against your own will, nor will anyone hurt you. You will not have an enemy. You will suffer no harm. Aiming, therefore, at such great things, Remember that you must not allow yourself any inclination, however slight, toward the attainment of others, but that you must entirely quit some of them. And for the present, postpone the rest. But if you would have these, and possess power, and wealth likewise, you may miss the latter in seeking the former, and you will certainly fail of that by which alone happiness and freedom are procured. Seek at once, therefore, to be able to say to every unpleasing semblance, you are but a semblance, and by no means the real thing. And then examine it by those rules which you have, and first and chiefly by this, whether it concerns the things which are within our own power, or those which are not. If it concerns anything beyond our power, be prepared to say that it is nothing to you. Now, when I first read that passage, I just remember getting an overwhelming sense of freedom, because for the first time, I realized that, at least at the time when I was first reading this, I'd realized that much of my thought processes were on things that I had absolutely no power to change. For example, let's say the way that my face looked, for one. That used to be a very big deal for me, probably whilst I was in high school. While it is normal to want to have a nice looking face, that passage made me realize that, one, it's not in my control, and two, if it's not in my control, and I'll never have the power to control it, naturally, I should say, then why should I continue to suffer when I'm not even able to act to change said thing? This began I should say it started a fire within me to gain more knowledge so that I could understand. Because for the first time in a very long time, after reading this, I felt free. Free from my own mind, and free from a whole lot of things. A whole lot. So, here are some takeaways from reading. 1. In this life, to the Stoic sage, there are only present two things in relation to living life. Those which can be considered our own affairs, and or the things which you have control of. And lastly, those which are beyond our own affairs, and or the things you have no control over. 2. When you take a stance on things which aren't your own affairs, you will inevitably be confronted with failure. It is desiring to change what we cannot which brings us suffering. For example, maybe you desire the attention of others. One day, someone will not be able to fulfill what you desire from them. From the very start, you were doomed to fail. You were seeking to change that which you have been given little to no power over. However, on the other hand, let's Let's say you instead desired to be the best version of yourself. This offers far more freedom and way less suffering, long term I should say, because you are now focusing on that which you actually have control of. You can control your own actions, and you can focus your efforts on developing something that will make you feel whole. Takeaway number 3. When in deliberation, due to one of your problems, one should aspire to be able to ask calmly and precisely, is this truly of the things that are within my power? It is the Stoic sage who can ask and answer these questions with ease and straightforwardness. The sage, if finding his answer to be yes, he then rejoices. Why continue to suffer when all that is needed is action? The sage understands the power to change the things that are within his own affairs, rests forever within inside himself. However, if he finds that the thing troubling him is not of his own affairs, or beyond his power, he also rejoices. Thank the heavens. For now he knows he has no control over that. And with that being said, what logical reason would one have to continue to take part in suffering and continue to worry about that which you have no control over? In short, the things that are our own affairs, when focused on, provides the bonuses of freedom, unrestriction, and action. However, when it is instead focused on, let me backtrack a little bit. We only doing one take, baby. However, when we instead focus on those things which belong to others or are not our own affairs, we experience weakness, dependency, restriction, and inaction. Takeaway number 4. The Stoic sage seeks the ending of unnecessary suffering. He does this by a beautiful combination of reason and virtue. It is the sage who has a positive outlook on all things that you would deem unpleasing. The sage, at least to what it seems to be to me, takes full control of his judgment and wielding it like a tool, almost like a sword. He only focuses on that which is a part of his own affairs. Completely in control of his judgment, the sage would seem to literally be a god amongst men, winning every single encounter he has. Because when one focuses only on that which you have control over, how could anyone beat you in that which you have control over? Your own mind. Number 5. Simply put, the Stoic sage doesn't waste his time or life concerned with the things that he cannot control. The sage instead focuses their attention to things which he does have control of. He suffers not in his imagination like the millions of people that walk around every day thinking of things that are outside of their own control. Takeaway number 6. As a good practice, you should seek to be able to objectively and definitively define whether or not a topic concerning you is within the things that are of your own affairs, or if they are of the things which are beyond your own affairs. If it ranks within those things which are your own affairs, then rejoice. Only the work to complete what you want is needed. However, if the thing concerning you is beyond your own affairs, you should also, like the Stoic sage, rejoice. You have nothing to worry about. You suffer in your imagination. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say there is a very cute person that you would like to talk to. You, unlike the Stoic sage, will focus on all of the things that you cannot control. How is she going to respond? Is he going to like this? Will she hate me after this? I hope I don't ruin our friendship. A bunch of different things, right? Almost all of them being stuff that you cannot control. However, the Stoic sage realizes all those things you were just thinking about adds onto the suffering of you not having what you desire, which is your relationship with this imaginary person we just made up. The Stoic sage instead just says to himself, or he thinks to himself about the things which he can control. How should I go up to him? What should I say to him? Am I in a good mood right now to be speaking to others? The control in every single situation they put themselves in, the Stoic sage is in control because they realize and are only focusing on that which is a part of their own affairs. Anyways, let me know how you guys like this. I did a bit of research about Epictetus, did a bit of research on his books, and he has a lot, like we could make a series about just this one alone, and it'd probably be like 30-40 parts long, probably all under like 10 minutes. But I won't lie to you, I kind of like this, so let me know how you guys like this. And if it's actually helping you and you're able to digest the information nicely, also let me know that as well. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Once again, you were brought here by me, Emmanuel Lamoa, to my new channel, The Scribe.